You're listening to the Water Cooler Edit with Chris and Rich. Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of the Water Cooler Edit with my Bayut. Of course, it's myself and Rich. He hasn't gone on holiday yet, which is a little bit weird, but Rich, as always, it's nice to see you.
I have. Well, you can't call going back to the UK holiday.
Yes, you can.
No, well, no, it's more of an endurance test, I think.
An endurance for what? The weather?
Yeah, the weather was so cold. Mind you, I suppose you can't really go. If you go back to UK in January, I can't really complain about it being cold. But yeah, it was freezing. But I'm back from there. But I'm now eyeing up my next vacation.
It was great because while you were away, we had British summer here. It was grey all over the place.
Yeah, I know. It really heavily rained, didn't it? You had flooding. It was like monsoon season.
It was like being back home. It was absolutely perfect. But of course, this week we'll be talking about things that are happening in Abu Dhabi. It wasn't really something we planned. It kind of just became a coincidence because it seems to be there's a lot of things happening in Abu Dhabi either this week or in the next coming weeks. And of course, Comic-Con is happening soon. SeaWorld is opening. We've heard it's in March, but it may be delayed further. Obviously, that means it's going to be bigger and better than ever. Plus, there is some racing action happening at Yas. And no, it's not Formula One, although there are some or Formula One drivers that may be looking for seats here and there, so that makes things quite interesting.
Yeah. There's a whole lot going on, right? There's new things are opening all over the place in Abu Dhabi. There's the events coming up. I mean, where do you want to start? Comic-Con?
Yeah, let's start with Comic-Con because that's probably the biggest one of all, right? Because it's fast approaching. It's been here for years. Okay, it was in Dubai for many years.
Yeah.
Sad that it's in Abu Dhabi because we had to drive all the way there. But however, since it's been there, it's just gotten bigger and better as the years have gone by. And the star power that comes in is mind-boggling.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've been going to Comic-Con pretty much every year since I came to the UAE, but 10 years ago, right? So, I've seen it grow over that time, just get bigger and bigger. And the same thing, I mean, obviously it stopped for a couple of years during the pandemic, as did everything, but then it resurfaced in Abu Dhabi. This will be the second year in Abu Dhabi. It's running from March the 3rd to March the 5th. So that's the Friday, Saturday and Sunday. And there's some big stars. There's some big stars coming.
Who are the biggest stars that are coming?
Well, there's still some to be announced, but so far we've got Matt Smith, Doctor Who, and also House of Dragon, the Game of Thrones spin-off recently. Huge series.
Haven't watched it.
He was a major character in that with his very long blonde wig. So he's coming. And you have Anthony Daniels as well, who played C-3PO in all the Star Wars movies. It's the whole Skywalker saga from 1977 through to 2018 or whatever, Revenge of...
I would have preferred R2-D2 to come and make the noise.
But the beep beep noise?
No, the wee!
The wee noise where it gets...
Yeah. That's what I would 100% would have gone to Comic-Con just for that.
Yeah, fair dues. I think a lot of people would have gone for R2-D2 if they wheeled him out, or he wheeled himself out.
Yeah, true.
So no R2-D2, but C-3PO will be there. Anthony Daniels, I wouldn't imagine he'll have the suit on, but you never know. And finally, probably the biggest name so far is Andy Serkis. Serkis, Serkis. He was Gollum in Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit series. He was in the first Black Panther movie as, I believe it was Ulysses Claw, which was the name, and he was fantastic in that. And he's just been in huge amounts of stuff. He directed the latest Venom film. He is in Andor, the latest Star Wars series, which he was brilliant in that. He played it so well. So he's coming. So Gollum is arriving in Abu Dhabi. That's basically it. My precious.
So there's more happening in Abu Dhabi besides Comic-Con. So if... do
you want to know the ticket prices quickly?
Oh, yeah, sure. Let's go. Let's have the ticket prices first.
Right, okay. So you can have a 3-day pass. Furiously checks notes for 299 dirhams. Right? Okay. That's a 3-day pass. A 1-day pass is 135 dirhams.
So it's probably best to get the 3-day pass if you're planning to go on 3 days at least. I presume there's no 2-day pass then.
Not that I've seen as yet. Whether they'll announce one closer to the time, I don't know. But I think there is so much to see there, right? Because you got all the stuff there. There's a brilliant called Artist Alley where you got all local artists as well as international artists coming in who just have their designs up and stuff like that. It's really, really cool, man.
So if you're not a geek or you don't like geeking out and you prefer animals, SeaWorld is finally coming to United Arab Emirates and it'll be in Abu Dhabi. It was supposedly opening in March, but apparently from what we know and from our sources, the delay of opening has been, well, they never really confirmed the date. It was kind of tentative for March, but from what we understand, it's going to be opening later on. SeaWorld is, of course, one of the biggest. It's not a water park, is it? It's more of an amusement park, I guess, with sea animals, and it's kind of fun and educational. Fungicational.
Yeah, fungicational.
Fungicational. Kind of sounds like a mushroom. You see animals and you learn about animals, and you see animals do very interesting things. And
it's a lot of fun. You do learn about things. There was this great section in the Florida one about manatees. You know about manatees, and but it was just like educational about how they were getting caught in by boats and things like this. But it was, you do learn about issues and things like that. And also, it's also known for its roller coasters now, SeaWorld. They call it the roller coaster capital of Orlando.
As someone who doesn't understand what a SeaWorld is, and I've got some useless information about SeaWorld as well that I'll tell you afterwards. Now, you're telling me there's roller coasters. Do the roller coasters go into the sea?
They're sea-based. They don't necessarily submerge.
You don't go. They don't go roller coaster, submarine roller coaster. So you're not.
Not really. They haven't.
yourself.
The technology is not quite there yet for the roller coaster, submarine roller coaster. But I'm sure it's on the way. Be pretty special, huh?
It would be, yes. Comic-Con is coming to Abu Dhabi, but there are some exciting things that are already available right now or are happening right now as well. There is a new roller coaster in Ferrari World. Was it called Mission Ferrari?
Yeah, Mission Ferrari.
So this sounds to me very intriguing because I'm a motorsport fan. I'm not going to say I'm a Formula One fan, but when I hear Mission and Ferrari, I think of something completely different. I don't think of a roller coaster. I think of advertising, of things that you shouldn't be advertising for. But they did it in a very subtle way, which is very interesting. But this is a brand new roller coaster. And of course, Ferrari World is known for their epic roller coasters. Every time I drive in there, I'm thinking, I need to go in. Because they have that one that it goes up. It kind of looks like a heart and it twists at the top. And
that might be Flying Aces. I think, is it called Flying Aces? I think it's probably got about 4 coasters now. And they're seriously good coasters. I mean, they've got the world's fastest coaster there for a start. This one is a 5D multi-sensory immersive mega coaster. That's quite something, isn't it? It's not just a roller coaster, Chris. It's a mega coaster. I've seen footage of the roller coaster. It opened, I think, 12th of January. I've seen footage of it. It looks great. It looks great. It's kind of like a Mission Impossible Ferrari collab type thing. And it looks like a whole lot of fun with a few twists, not actually physical twists, but to twist to the normal kind of roller coaster experience. So it's worth checking out, man.
It sounds very exciting. Of course, just opposite Ferrari World is, of course, the Yas Marina Circuit, which this weekend plays host to the Asia Le Mans Series. 4 rounds of racing exclusively in the Middle East again. 2 rounds have already taken place in Dubai, which have been absolutely phenomenal. But there's 2 races this weekend at Abu Dhabi. And it features, I know, Rich, you're enthralled about what I'm going to tell you about.
Look, I'm interested. I would say that as you know, my knowledge of cars and racing is basically zero. So educate me.
So we have 3 classes of racing. We've got LMP2, LMP3, and GT.
Right.
The LMP2 and 3 kind of look like spaceships. So they have these closed cockpits that don't look like any road car that you see on the planet. And they're driven by Formula One.
Kind of bubble,
they've got these kind of space domes at the front of them. They look very cool, and they're powered by some very interesting engines. One of them, from what I remember a couple of years ago, was powered by a Nissan Patrol engine. So very cool, and that's where the reliability came from. But what's interesting about it is that the drivers who are coming this year. So we have Formula One hopefuls, we've got ex-Formula One drivers, plus GT specialists from around the world. So there's a lot of star power, including one Nikita Mazepin, who raced in Formula One in 2021.
That recently, wow.
Yeah, conveniently he raced for Haas, who are powered by Ferrari. So Ferrari World is right there. So a little bit of an incentive there for him. But
nice.
The races take place today, actually, is the last race of the season. We're running 4 races exclusively in the Middle East, as we've done for the past 3 years.
It sounds good. It sounds great. Look, I mean, let's be honest. Abu Dhabi, UAE, as a whole, but predominantly Abu Dhabi, is becoming a hub for motorsport, isn't it? Really, I mean, it's like almost like a holy grail for
Yeah, it is, and every year it gets bigger and better. We've got things like the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, which is the season finale for Formula One. We have the Gulf Historic, which is a throwback to the golden era of motorsports. We have the epic Dubai 24 Hour, which is one of the most grueling 24-hour races on the calendar. Obviously, Le Mans takes the cake for that, but in the Middle East, it is the longest race.
Yeah.
The 6 hours of Abu Dhabi, plus a whole range of single-seater series that range from 14 cars on the grid to close to 42, which is staggering when you think about it. And all of these are young hopefuls that will also be racing today.
42 cars. So that would be 42 cars in one race, in the same race?
In the same race. 42.
That seems like a lot.
It is. Now, my numbers might be slightly off because last time out we did have close to that number in one category, and then in the other it was closer to 30. But when you think about it, we've got cars that are just smaller than Formula One cars. They've got less power, obviously. They're more 1.6 litre, the smaller engines, everything. There's some smaller aero packages.
Give me, so as a someone who knows nothing, what kind of would their top speed be?
Well over 200.
That's fine.
And of course, all of these drivers are young F1 hopefuls, and they're making their name for themselves right here in the Middle East.
That's really cool, man. Cool. You could be seeing a Formula One champion of the future, basically, is what you nice, man.
And there are actually some big names here. I know.
I actually remember it used to be I think a couple of years, it was in April, Comic Con.
Yeah.
And my, it was steamy.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, with your onesie on, with your
I almost became an actual dinosaur. Melted down into crude.
Yes, I can imagine that was kind of steamy.
Yes.
One last thing, Abu Dhabi. New world coming to Warner Brothers World.
New world.
Well, a new land, right? Because Warner Brothers World is made up of various lands, zones, if you want, right? So you've got like a Dynamite Gulch, which is kind of, Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner and all that. It's kind of based around that. Bedrock, Flintstones.
Okay.
Right? And you've got Metropolis, which is Superman and Gotham and what have you. I'm not sure you've got Gotham, actually. Maybe.
So who is New World then?
The new land coming
before
supposedly before the end of 2023 is Harry Potter Land.
Okay. So that's perfect timing for the upcoming game as well.
Yeah. So basically, we're going to potentially see a resurgence of Pottermania with the new game that's being released imminently, Hogwarts Legacy, which...
you would have received your copy by now.
Yes, and
it's probably waiting for you at home. I dragged you in here to do it, so you can't play it.
Yeah, no, I really want to go. I really want to play it, but work keeps getting in the way. It's not fair, Chris. I don't know. Yeah,
this podcast gets in the way.
What's going on? I should be playing Hogwarts Legacy. It's just
next time there's a game launch on the same day. I'll bring the Xbox in with the portable screen, and we'll play that instead.
Perfect.
We'll do a live stream.
People can watch us playing the game.
Exactly.
And every now and again, we'll just wave at the camera.
Yeah. Of course, if you want to learn any more about the subject that we've discussed here on the Water Cooler Edit, you can, of course, check out the My Bayut blog, which is Bayut.com/MyBayut. And you can see all the amazing articles that Rich and his team work on. If you've got any insightful information about Abu Dhabi, do let us know in the comment section below. If you've got any recommendations while we're both down there checking out SeaWorld and the Ferrari roller coaster, Yas Marina Circuit, and everything else in between, except if you're the sorting hat, let us know in the comment section below because we love to explore Abu Dhabi as well. Thank you so much for watching. And Rich, it's time to get sorted out. It's time to leave.
Cheers, guys. See ya.
You're listening to the Water Cooler Edit with Chris and Rich.